Hello, welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. I am your host, Francy Hall, and today we're going to be visiting with Judge Karen Duncan and County Attorney Dan McIntosh talking about the Promoting Peace Conference, which is basically in honor of the fact that October coming up is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and there is a conference that's going to be dedicated to bringing peace to families that are experiencing domestic violence. After that, we're going to be speaking with members of our local SCORE chapter talking about an upcoming event that's going to be benefiting and helping businesses. Please stay with us for those. But first, we want you to know if you have ideas for upcoming shows, we would love to get them on the air. Just contact us via Facebook, or you can email us at owatonnatoday@charter.net. We hope you'll stay with us for these great shows coming up after a word from our sponsors.
Yay, that worked.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beth Giltvet.
And I'm Dr. Nick Vincelli of Horizon Eye Care.
We want you to see what you love and love how you see. We're proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
It is a beautiful day.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now, I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Welcome back. We are joined by Judge Karen Duncan and by County Attorney Dan McIntosh, and we're going to be talking about promoting peace.
That's right. Thanks for having us, Francy.
Oh, it's good to
Thank
have
you.
you here. Yes, welcome. And of course, obviously, we just introduced you, that you know who these people are. I'm very curious how each of you got involved in promoting peace in this particular conference, but also in, working to hopefully end violence, domestic violence.
Well,
What inspired you?
Dan and I see a lot of domestic violence cases and other types of interpersonal violence, but as a judge, I get really excellent training. And the last great training I went to, I was on my way back home and I thought, this is really wonderful. I can apply this knowledge in a case-by-case basis. But really, most cases of interpersonal violence never end up in the court system. Mm-hmm. So my knowledge doesn't help anyone. So that's where we started having a conversation with the Crisis Resource Center, with our Parenting Connection, where they supervise visits for families that are struggling, bringing in the county attorney's office, our law enforcement agencies, to say, what is it that people in our community need to understand better so that we can start having a conversation out loud together about the fact that we have violence in homes in our community.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And as you said, it's the tip of the iceberg, what you see.
Right.
And why is that, Dan? What inspired you to get involved?
Well, from the prosecutor's office and from law enforcement perspective, the traditional model is act and response. There's something that happens out in the street or in a home, and then there's a response that's made, an arrest or a court case. And that's not going to go away. We're going to still have plenty of that work, but I think our office has been involved and interested in trying to be more on the prevention side as much as we can. So this is a type of conference that brings awareness to the issues. We're going to bring a lot of professionals together to, not only bring awareness, but look at strategies. We're going to do a case study review. Judge Sean Flurkey is coming to go through a choices exercise that's really interesting of a person experiencing domestic violence and what kind of choices they have to make along the way. That kind of helps understand the idea of why did he or she stay in that scenario, why did they do what they did. And this is a first step, and we hope to continue the conversation both here and in Waseca County as we go along.
And who are these professionals you talked about who are going to be at this conference?
Sure. Well, I guess I'll include myself in that, but
of course.
We have a law enforcement investigator. We have a an individual who's experienced in the neurology and the science behind traumatic events in the brain. We have victim advocates. So really just a real cross-section of a number of people who work in this area. The recognition is also there that traumatic events in life are very highly correlated with drug and alcohol use. So it's kind of looking at the intertwining of all these things and how we can prevent, the downstream effects of all this.
Does poverty play a role at all? I'm just curious. Do we know?
I think people would like to think that it's only those people that have to be concerned about violence. That's really not true.
Okay. That's
I
good
think
to know.
there are more complicating factors for people who don't have financial resources. If I had an issue, I could go to my sister's house. Maybe somebody else doesn't have that kind of a support system. And so that's just an additional complicating factor.
But it's not an underlying causal factor.
No,
It's
I
a
don't believe
complicating
so.
factor. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, this is really one that knows no political boundaries or racial boundaries or socioeconomic boundaries. There's domestic and sexual violence in our society, and ending some of those stigmas maybe about those people or where we might think it happens is part of the conversation.
And who should be coming to this conference?
Everyone. I know it sounds perhaps like a little bit of a downer here to come on a beautiful Saturday in October and listen to this, but it's so fascinating to hear from the people who are on the cutting edge of the research to learn that we judge people based on whether or not they behave in the way we expect them to behave. And what the science is telling us is that our expectations are wrong, that victims are behaving in exactly the way that the neurochemical reactions dictate. And if we can understand that, then I believe that stigma will be reduced. People might feel more comfortable reporting what's happened so that they can get connected to appropriate services for healing and recovery. And it's not just an issue for that particular woman or that particular man, because of course men are victims as well, but it's the whole family unit. And so if there's a child who's been traumatized by hearing the violence between the adults in the home, that child goes to school. They're not functioning in school, they're not with it. That's causing problems potentially for other children and for school staff. So the ripple effects of violence, it touches everyone in our community, and that's why we really hope that everyone will consider, even if they can't come for the whole day, maybe come and listen to the 90 minutes on the neurobiology, or come and do the 90-minute exercise with Judge Flurkey to see what it's like to walk in the shoes of someone who's got to make difficult choices.
Absolutely. We should tell people before we continue here when it is, what time it is, where it is.
Saturday, October 3rd. We're doing this in the social hall in the downstairs at St. Joseph's because it's a great space for us to be able to have room and move around. We also, in the room off of the main room, will have informational tables from the different service providers so that people can gain more information.
So there might be a little kind of resource fair?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Lunch is provided, so you don't need to pack a lunch. You can just come and show up. The doors open at 8:30 so that you can get a seat right in front. But the conference itself will start at about 5 to 9 with the general announcements and then the first presentation beginning at 9.
Okay.
We'll wrap up the formal program at about 4:15, but we're leaving some space there in the afternoon for some additional conversation for people that want to stay or have additional questions.
Well, it sounds like a packed,
It is.
jam-packed full of really good stuff here. Just some of the questions that might be answered. Why doesn't she leave? After the violence, medical and police response, announcements, preview of next year's program, why she didn't scream, help in moving forward, the criminal justice response. But as you said, this is not just, it can affect everybody because of the ripple effect.
Right.
So I love that you guys are talking about, you see it in the courtroom and you see it in the courtroom, but that's the tip of the iceberg. So what can we do to prevent it? So is that part of the goal? What is the goal for this?
The goal this year is for people to come and get information so that we all are sharing information to be able to have this conversation moving forward. And the idea is that we can get back together at least on an annual basis and to continue to pursue what are we lacking in our community, what more do we need to do, where is this headed so that we can be more proactive and more preventative.
Is there any one thing that strikes you as the most important issue that we're going to address at this conference, either of you?
You know, I can tell you, Francie, if you don't mind me just
Oh, you bet.
jumping in here. Last Thursday night, I was out walking my dog, and I heard the worst awful screaming, and it turned out to be coming from a block away. This was at 7 o'clock, broad daylight, and here was a family that was having a dispute on the street. And as I got closer to this dispute, there were a group of neighbors who were standing there, and they looked so helpless and so pained about not knowing what to do or if it was okay to do anything. My hope is that people who come to this will leave knowing that if they find themselves in that circumstance, they will have options that they can use that will help their neighbors be healthier and safer in the community.
Wow. So that's, I mean, just right up front, that's something that you experienced right here in town.
Right.
What about you, Dan?
Well, I think what the judge was saying before about information sharing is a big one. We've seen it in other court-related programs that when people who are kind of doing things out on their own and individually get together and share information, there's a lot of good ideas that come about. So for example, here in Steele County, we have the Crisis Resource Center who does great work with victims already. So this is not in any way to supplant what they're doing. Hopefully it's only to emphasize what they're doing and to support them, because there are a lot of people out there and not all of them will even have access to Crisis Resource Center. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the big pool where a lot of people go, and then a lot fewer end up in court and a lot fewer end up, you know, kind of downstream. But as the judge was saying, you know, we want the community to also have the ability to respond or to be a support for someone. I think domestic violence is a very isolating situation. You feel like there's no out, there's no end in sight, there's no hope. And if we can provide that even to a few victims or a few families who are experiencing that, we're really going to get a lot of benefit down the road.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, if we don't talk about racism, we'll always have it. Mm-hmm. And I think if we don't talk about violence, we're always going to have it as well.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I mean, people are violent. I mean, we are human beings, but it doesn't mean we have to be. And and when it happens, there are things that we can do, right? So, again, one more time, when is it?
Saturday,
where is it?
October 3rd at St. Joseph's here in Owatonna, 512 Elm Avenue, starting at 9 o'clock with the formal program. Come early, though, so you can get a good seat. Mm-hmm. It'll run until 4:15 or 4:30 in the afternoon. If you can only come for part of the day, still come. Mm-hmm. You can check this out online at Eventbrite, Promoting Peace Owatonna 2015.
Is there a cost?
Is there a cost?
No, because people have pooled together their resources to make sure this is available to everyone in the community. So Walser Automotive has sponsored money, Mayo Clinic has sponsored money, the County Attorney's Office, law enforcement. This is everyone in the community pulling together.
Oh, thank you so much to those sponsors. This is so important. Thank you for being here, Judge Duncan, and thank you so much to you also, Dan. Please stay with us. After a word from our sponsors, we will be back with SCORE.
Hi, I'm Kim Schaffenbuhl, Director of United Way of Steele County. I invite you to live united by giving, advocating, and volunteering to ensure that the building blocks of a good quality of life, education, income, and health are strong and stable in our community. We all have a stake in creating a healthy, prosperous community. We all win when children succeed in school, workers have steady jobs, and families have good health. United Way of Steele County is working to make this happen, and we can't do it without your help. Please give generously to this year's campaign.
Don't let the cold winter weather stop you from exercising. Keep up your fitness program at the West Hills Tennis and Fitness Center. We offer a variety of different membership packages available on daily, monthly, and yearly basis. We also have a variety of programs and services to help the newest of members get started and to help those who have been around for a while improve on what they are doing. The Tennis and Fitness Center participates in insurance reimbursement programs with a variety of different insurance providers that could make you eligible for up to $20 credit each month. For more information about the West Hills Tennis and Fitness Center, call us at 444-4290.
Hi, I'm Ron Clancher with Clancher & Son Landscaping and Concrete. We support the Owatonna Today Show, and so should you.
Amy Swain Hearing Centers is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Dr. Amy Swain, and I want everyone to hear better.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
I'm Deb Gillard. And I'm Shaw McNulty with Brookdale Owatonna Senior Living Solutions. We are assisted living and Alzheimer's and dementia care communities here in Owatonna, and formerly known as Clare Bridge and Sterling House. And we are proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back. We are here with Arlan Burmeister and Diane Wilson. They are both with our local SCORE chapter, and you're here to talk about the leadership connection.
Yes.
Let's find out what this leadership connection is, shall we? And Diane, I'm sorry, first let's just introduce yourselves. Do you want to tell everybody who you are and how you're connected to this?
Sure. I am Diane Wilson. I have been a member of SCORE, which is the body that is promoting this Lunch and Learn seminar. And I've been with SCORE about 7 years. And SCORE mentors business people.
Okay.
People going into business, people already in business, people that are the owners, maybe they're workers in a business. But anyone that's having a business problem and they would like to have a discussion with a professional about that, we are the group they can call. We're totally free. There is no charge to anyone to speak with us, and it's 100% confidential.
Wonderful. And Arlan, besides the many other things you do here in the community, this is another one. How are you connected with SCORE?
I started with SCORE in, I think it was 2009, is when Tim Penny from the Initiative Foundation started this idea. It's a national organization to start with. And we were, excuse me, first with Rochester, then we broke off and we developed a chapter which is an umbrella of Faribault, Owatonna, Waseca, Mankato, and Albert Lee. All these communities are part of one chapter, and each of us is considered a link to this chapter. So the organization has individuals from all of these places. And we have like 32, 33 mentors, people that have been certified and have gone through ethics statements and so on to work with potential clients.
So before we do want to talk about the leadership connection, because I know that's why you're here. So let's first give them the date, the time, the place, and if there's a cost, and what they're going to see. And then I'd love to talk more about SCORE, just because that's who's bringing this to us.
It's Wednesday, September 30th, from 11:30 to 1 p.m. at the South Central College in Faribault. The charge is $20. Lunch is included, and it's being put together for anyone in business. The whole message here is how to affect your bottom line, how your leadership team can inspire your workers to do a better job, be more enthused about their job, to pull together as a team rather than what do I want to do for my job today, what do we want to do. And it's been proven that if we operate in a we factor, the bottom line increases potentially from that.
What kind of things are they going to be that's interesting to me, because it's talking about having everybody involved be content and happy, and that promotes success in the business. What are some of those factors? Do you know what they're going to be talking about there?
We have a guest speaker coming in, and I'm going to let Diane talk a little bit about the person that she's been involved in setting this up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric Thurwanger is going to be our speaker. He is a former Marine and an author and a well-known speaker in the Midwest. And he is going to speak on what he calls the leadership connection. So, and this is where he will share his ideas on how you pull your team together to truly be a team.
Leadership connection meaning connected to the team.
Absolutely.
Connected to the whole, not just...
Yes, yes. The leader, so it sort of takes the hierarchy away from a business model, rather than the executives all sitting in one area and I'm not saying people need to move their offices now, but there isn't such a division between the administrative people and the worker bees, so to speak. It's how we all work together for the common good of the business. Enjoy it while you're doing it.
Great. All right. And so, for those people who might want to attend this conference, they may also be interested in what SCORE does as well.
We would hope so. If I might go back to the Leadership Connection just for a minute, or our seminar, it is being sponsored by Wells Fargo, by ServiceMaster, by IAT, and Steele Waseca Cooperative Electric, and Southern Minnesota Media. So we wanted to be sure and let our viewers know who is sponsoring
Always
this
have
with
to thank
us.
the sponsors, absolutely.
And SCORE is working in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce's in Faribault, Northfield, Owatonna, as well as the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation.
Okay, all right, well, good to know. And if somebody was attending this conference, and let's say they're just starting out, so that they're going to help build a good foundation just from the beginning, but they also can come to you for advice.
Absolutely.
Correct?
What typically happens is, as I said, SCORE is a national organization, and people can go on to score.org just as a web page, and they can pick up a way in which they can find a mentor. They want help. That actually ends up in Washington, D.C., we're part of the Small Business Administration, funded that way. But it ends up there. Then they, in turn, find the closest zip code when a person enters a zip code, and they send it out, and it ends up here in our organization. And then what we do is if it's Mankato, for example, we find a mentor in Mankato that has skills similar to their request. So if someone's attending this conference and they say, this is really good and I need some help, we've been in business for a while, but I picked up some things and I'd like to get a little bit of help, all they have to do is request some kind of assistance, either from our web page or getting onto the national page, and we'll get someone out there to help them.
We currently have 32 mentors that are working in the area of which our chapter covers. And so we have a broad range of expertises. And if, say, it was I that was assigned to a client, and when I and that client sat down and visited with one another, I come to find out that my expertise is not really what they need, then we bring in another client or another mentor.
So you match them up with the appropriate skill set.
Absolutely.
And so if I was going to be speaking with you, what is your expertise?
I am a former banker and Chamber of Commerce employee, and so I have expertise in drafting business plans, in your financials, in some human resource type things. So it's and that varies then from one of us to another.
Link to link. You are the human links to this whole thing. Is that what you were saying?
That's exactly right.
What about you, Arlan? What would I come to you for?
I'm trying to figure that out. No. Actually, I have had a lot of experience in developing small business in terms of individual sole proprietors and sales and marketing. And so we can work in that area with individuals. And again, if we need help, we just pull in another person. So if I can get back to this, just to say that another way which we're promoting this is we've had over the years a number of clients that we've worked with, and we're trying to get back to them with a note to say, hey, this conference is coming up. We're inviting them to, so even if we've counseled them over a period of years or previously, they would still be a good person to come to this. So we're working on letting them know as well.
Yes, absolutely. This Lunch and Learn that we are doing, if you're attending, it doesn't mean you're having a problem. Everyone is encouraged to attend this that is in business in any way, shape, or form.
Sure, always wanting to maximize the success of your team and your business.
Absolutely,
and
we
your
want to affect their bottom line.
September 30th, 11:30 to 1 at South Central College in Faribault, And the fee is $20 for lunch and learn.
And they
Lunch
can
and
register
learn.
just by contacting their local Chamber of Commerce or the Faribault Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, and they can go online at score.org, is that what you said?
They can do that, or they can find out by going to our local webpage, which would be South Central Minnesota Score.org. And this will be pictured for them there.
Okay, South Central Minnesota
Score.org.
Score.org.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being here,
Thanks,
Diane and
Francy.
Arlan.
Thank
Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have you back again too.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Stay with us. After a word from our sponsors, we'll be back with your community announcements.
Hello, my name is Katie Marshall. A year ago, my family and I became homeless. We were scared and alone. Today, with the help of Steele County Transitional Housing and generous donors like you, my family and I are safely housed. I am working, going to college, paying my rent on time. My children have a warm bed to sleep in every night. My family and I are so grateful for this second chance. Please help others in need by donating to transitional housing today. Everyone deserves a safe place to live.
Welcome to Bremer Bank. I am Jason Iberg.
And I'm Shannon Pedersen.
Bremer is a full financial services bank.
We invite you to stop by Bremer Bank and experience the Bremer difference.
You are always welcome at Bremer.
Welcome back. We are here with your community announcements because we are your community connection. So let's get started. Join your neighbors. Join your neighbors. Tuesday, September 15th. That's tomorrow. For climate change. It's sponsored by the climateminnesota.org, and they're going to be talking about ways that we can understand what's happening locally in terms of climate change and ways we can help mitigate what's happening locally with climate change. So for more information, go to climateminnesota.org/Owatonna. Riverbend Nature Center is holding its 34th annual Riverbend Ramble on September 19th at the Faribault American Legion. Tickets are $40. You can purchase them online and learn more about this at shop.rbnc.org/ramble. The Owatonna Walk to End Alzheimer's is coming up September 20th. That is at Mineral Springs Park. That registration is at 9 a.m. The walk starts at 10 a.m. You can walk either the 3-mile or the 1-mile route. And for more information, you can call 507-289-3950 or email deddy@alz.org. Autism Spectrum Disorder Parent Support Group is happening every fourth Tuesday. So coming up on September 22nd, that will be occurring from 6 o'clock to 7:30 at Associated Church. If you have any questions about that, call Taya at 213-1323. I think that's all the time we have right now for our community announcements. Do come back because we have coming up for you an update from OPU and the Humane Society. That is on Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to be speaking about Culture Fest, and we've taken a excursion to the Muslim Experience exhibition that's at the Owatonna Art Center. So come back and join us then. Excursion field.